It is Saturday, and it's the 40th edition of the WoW Economy Weekly Wrap-Up. 40 weeks in a row. Well, I guess we missed a week in BlizzCon last year, but I guess it counts. Yeah, there's a 3-day kind of overlap lifted up. Gives you a chance to resub if you were so inclined. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in today. If you are listening on the homepage of Wowhead or the blog post itself, do feel free to click through onto the stream and come and say hello and join in the giveaway that we have active. 30 days of WoW game time available to both EU and NA players. All you have to do is follow the stream and type the word goblin in the stream chat in order to qualify as a winner or to be qualified as a potential winner. We'll be picking a winner at the end of the Wowhead section, which will probably be in about 40 minutes or so. So feel free to come and join in, ask any questions as we go through, share your thoughts on the blog and gold making and all that good stuff. But yeah, as I say, 40th edition of the weekly wrap-up. Last week was a little bit of a slow news week, but this week has been a bit more stuff to check out.
I know a buyer when I see one.
Let's see here. Do I want to change the music? I think we'll have the chill hop for a bit. Be a bit easier to talk over. 5 million gold dinosaur, absolutely.
I have a deal for you.
How's it going, PJ? Thanks for the follow. You might need to re-enter the giveaway there without the full stop at the end. I don't think that would have counted. Goes up back to and Hex and Bin. There you go, you got a General Mills, thanks for entering. As I say, we're going to be picking out the winner for the 30 days of WoW game time at the end of the Wowhead section here, probably in about 35-40 minutes or so. But yeah, as I say, 40th edition. This week we're going to look at the latest Battle for Azeroth beta changes, including profession updates, a bit of preparation for the launch of the expansion. WoW token prices have been going a bit crazy this week, and we have some documentation and records of somebody running Uldaman for 1,000 clears and basically recording what they got out of that. As always, if you want to check out all 39 other editions of the WoW Economy Weekly Wrap-Up on Wowhead, there's a link to do so on the post today. Everything is still accessible and readable. And for those who are new to the stream, or new to the WoW Economy blog, or listening for the first time, my name is Gumdrops. I'm the lead moderator for the WoW Economy subreddit, which is approaching 50,000 members now. And of course the accompanying Discord server, which has just crossed over 25,000 members now. So the community itself is still growing pretty strongly. Lots of people getting interested in gold making as time goes on. I'm also the support manager and user evangelist for Trade Skill Master, the auction house add-on suite. And in the blog I'm going to be covering interesting topics, discussions, content and guides that have been going on over the last week. Kind of like the week that was. In the gold making community. Some of it you might have missed. For example, myself, there's some things I did miss because I've been busy this week, so it's given me a great opportunity to keep up to date with the gold making over the last few days. Or if you're brand new to gold making, some interesting topics to get yourself started as a new or aspiring goblin. So I don't generally do guides specifically, nothing that's like a step-by-step instructional list, but kind of look at the bigger picture, the thought processes and decision making that goes into being a gold maker to help you guys be better at what you do. So just diving straight into it, although I did remind you guys there is a giveaway active if you are listening on the Wowhead homepage or the blog post itself. In order to enter, you have to click through into the stream, click that follow button and type the word goblin in the chat, and we'll be picking a winner for 30 days of WoW game time at the end of this Wowhead section. There is a little bit of subscriber luck enabled just to give you guys who've been supporting the stream a little bit of extra chance to win. So first section this week, Battle for Azeroth beta updates. Another week, another beta build. Most recently, the last few beta builds have not had any interesting stuff regarding gold making or economy side of things. But this week we've had some different profession updates that I think have been quite interesting. So some of the highlights of that have been the new primary stat potions, new agility, stamina, strength and intellect potions that have been introduced. These are kind of like the potion of prolonged power, but obviously separated out into the different stats. More interestingly though, professions can now craft different follower equipment or champion equipment, perhaps, depending on the branding of the mission table in Battle for Azeroth. So there are different items that increase the success chance of a mission or reduce the time of the mission. But more interestingly again, there's items here that return or have a chance to return crafting materials when successfully completing a mission. So you're going to be getting ore. Where's the other ones here? Enchanting dust, fish and azurite, ink as well actually, and herbs of course. Potion of herb tracking, which is kind of reminiscent to the Warlords of Draenor system, where you could return materials on your successful missions. I should talk a little bit about here. Regarding enchanting, the new wrist enchants that were data mined recently have been changed to become bind on pickup. You can't sell the enchants now, you can only craft them or cast them on your own items, and when you do cast them on the wrist or braces or whatever, it makes that item bind on pickup. So it's definitely one of the biggest blows in terms of changes to the enchants that have been data mined. So not going to be as interesting for gold makers. A lot of the weapon enchants have been nerfed as well, including damage dealt and duration of procs and stuff like that. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Some of the engineering perks have been reined in a little bit overpowered according to the numbers, and some of them don't work on creatures over level 83 now. There are some new tailoring only cloak enchants. What does this one do? Reduces the amount of threat. This one gives you a little bit of a slow fall situation or avoiding falling damage. And this one will stop you from being dazed. That's a pretty cool one. Of course, this is tailoring only cloak enchant, so I don't think you're going to be able to sell these. It's not going to be a particularly interesting market outside of yourself. There is a new fishing mount as well, Great Sea Ray. Unsure how to obtain this one. Probably should have investigated that a little bit further. See if this loads up here. Criteria of... Oh, I guess you get an achievement for getting it. So I guess it's just a random drop while fishing in Battle for Azeroth content. Which sounds pretty cool. So yeah, as I say, the wrist enchants are probably the biggest blow to potential markets. Not being able to sell those will be much less interesting. However, the follower equipment being craftable is going to be very nice. Since some of them generate free materials for your successful missions, it'll further increase the value of your mission table operations, especially when you're running with multiple alts. That a lot of you guys are probably already doing. If you're going to carry forward your alt setup, your alt army, and do the same in Battle for Azeroth, it's going to be a little bit more lucrative regarding the items you get that you can then sell or use yourself in your crafting operations. The mount is fish, says Knights 50, but you can sell it. Okay, I didn't realize it was BOE. It does say binds when used, so that's pretty cool. I can imagine this is... the value of this is definitely going to depend on how accessible it is or what the drop rate is. But yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out for that. But yeah, just following on my train of thought there regarding the materials you get from missions. if it is a substantial amount of materials, even when considering many alts, it could cause a drop in value of those crafting materials like we did see in Draenor. So comparing the value of Draenor herbs while it was current content and the value of Legion herbs while they're current content, they're two very different numbers. You were often able to buy Draenor herbs in Draenor for a few silver each, whereas Legion herbs have definitely been a lot more expensive, upwards of
Generous!
40 to 50 gold a piece.
You one.
Gumshear Gums Love.
Thank you so much for the resub, Pegasus Bob. Much appreciated. Thanks for your continued support. Here's Cody with a resub too. Thank you very much, guys.
How
Using your
generous!
Twitch Prime.
Thanks.
Let's
I
get
owe you
those
one.
blue crowns on your head in the chat if you got some goblins to share. Thank you, thank you. What was I saying? Yeah, so comparing those materials, if the materials you get from your missions is going to be anything more than insignificant, I think we're not going to see the same kind of price ranges of the current content in Battle for Azeroth as we did in Legion. It's going to be worth a little bit less and a little bit more accessible in terms of price paid for those items. So yeah, as I say, if these follow items make it alive, I don't see the new BFA herbs to remain as expensive for anywhere near the same length of time as comparable items did in Legion. So even though Dreamleaf, for example, has dropped down to 3 to 4 gold on some servers, I don't think that tail off in price is going to be as dramatic as it is going to be in BFA if you are able to acquire a lot of materials from these follower items. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So we have some data collection here from Billis Anixia, who is currently in the chat. The one and only world famous sniper, or sniper formula creator, I guess you'd say. But there has been a little bit of data collection being shared on the Discord server over the past couple of weeks. Example here is the monolite ore that Billis has been prospecting, just to get some prospecting rates for some of the new gems. And this kind of information is going to be very, very important for gold makers and goblins to determine and understand what kind of thing is going to be profitable at the launch of the expansion when there's not going to be much data available. So if you're interested in getting involved in that, either by sharing the materials you have on the beta or contributing your own data collection, maybe you've been prospecting or milling or scrapping stuff on the beta and you've been recording what you've been getting out of it, it would be very, very valuable to the gold making community if you would share that information. And I'm sure a lot of people are quite happy to share it, because that's what we are all about, is sharing information and helping each other out. More like Nerdus Anixia, something like that, Belazor. Main reason I coloured it so I don't have to memorise the names. That's a good point, Billis. I think that definitely helps. But yeah, as I say, if you are interested in getting involved in this kind of data collection, there is a Battle for Azeroth channel on the WoW Economy Discord server. We have a few people hanging out discussing data collection and just general BFA preparations and stuff like that. Checking out the new mount and stuff. Billis has been picking up this new 5 million gold mount. But yeah, data collection is always important, so if you'd like to get involved and contribute or share your own data, it'd be awesome. As I say, Battle for Azeroth channel on the WoW Economy Discord, and there's a link to the specific channel on the blog. Or if you're in the WoW Economy server anyway, just have a look on the left hand side on the channel list and have a chat into the channel there. So we do have some more data mined stuff, or stuff discovered in the beta. We have the return of the black market auction house. Madame Goya has returned. She has been in the game since Pandaria and has moved into the different expansion continents every time an expansion is launched. Madame Goya herself is located in Tortolan Refuge in Dazaralo. I can't remember how to pronounce this properly, but yeah, it's there on the screen if you want to read it. Screenshot of where she is there. There is also a black market auction house NPC for the other faction. I don't know if this one is for Horde or Alliance. But yeah, Madame Gosu is the black market liaison. I don't know if this was the one in the garrison at the time or if that was somebody else. But yeah, this particular NPC has no bodyguards, but there are lots of hostile mobs or enemies nearby, and she is located in Hook Point. Or Hook with 2 U's, as I would say. Nearby, Madame Gosu will find Tricky Nick for Alliance. I guess this Madame Gosu is for Alliance and Goya is for Horde, given this information. But Tricky Nick is who you need to speak to get the new 5 million gold mount, which is kind of the Grand Expedition Yak on steroids, because this new 5 million gold mount has an auctioneer on the back of it. So you can see the screenshot here. It's got an auctioneer here on the side of the mount, which is pretty cool. Never thought we'd see the day that this became a thing. But yeah, as I say, 5 million gold, it's a bit of a gold sink. It's probably one of the biggest mounts in the game as well. But as I say, it hosts the auctioneer and a vendor or a merchant on the back of it. There's a model viewer on Wowhead itself. Don't know if you can launch it properly here. There we go. I need that mount, yeah. I wish I had 5 million. So pretty hefty mount here. What's it look like when he's walking around? You can almost hear the mount walking with the animations of it. Hear it thudding around. Here's a regular mount for scale. Let's copy this into Wowhead here, or into the browser. Oh, here we go. So that's the Hearth Steed mount at the front, and there's the big dino boy in the background, absolutely dominating everything. It's going to be a huge status symbol. Yeah, probably it's going to be interesting to see how many goblins and gold makers pick this up.
How generous! Thanks. I owe you one.
There we go.
Oh yeah, baby, keep up with the good work, mate. Less than 3.
Thank you so much, Jimbo, for the 6-month resub. You got a brand new badge in the chat. Very much appreciated. I see some goblins in the chat for Jimbo. Very kind of you. Going to cut down on a lot of my auctioning alts. That's probably going to be the case for a lot of people tracks, especially if those who are already have the 5 million liquid to spare. It's going to pick it up. It also appears actually that the faction discounts might apply to the 5 million gold. So if you're exalted with Zandalori or Proudmoore Admiralty, you'll get a 20% discount as it stands on the beta. But I'm not sure whether that's going to be intended, and I would not be surprised if that does get changed at the launch of the expansion. But yeah, the mount in itself is definitely an interesting addition in terms of gold sinks. It seems like those who would use it most are players, or gold makers rather, who are out farming and need to list their wares as they go. However, it's going to probably be an incredibly tiny percentage that would have the 5 million gold liquid to spare, that are primarily farming mats or transmog or anything like that, and not already spending most of their time at the auction house anyway. Most farmers, I mean, this is probably going to be a very wide generalization, and I'm probably painting a lot of people with the same brush here, but from what I've experienced, most people who are exclusively farming and would find the most use out of a mount like this are basically living WoW token to WoW token and don't have the means to invest 5 million gold in an asset that probably wouldn't make too much difference in their gold making. It's not going to make them so much more efficient that they're going to make millions more gold per hour or whatever. It's not going to make them post stuff quicker. Well, it is going to make them post stuff quicker, but it's not going to dramatically change their routines or their workflows to the extent it's going to make them more gold at the end of the day, especially after spending 5 million gold. Which a lot of people don't have anyway, so it's kind of difficult to understand who the mount is for. For me personally, I'm going to buy the mount, but I'm only going to buy it as kind of a status symbol. It's not because it has an auctioneer on the back of it. obviously I'm going to use it, but it's not going to be like such a dramatic difference to my gold making just to have that mount with the auctioneer on it, because I spend 90% of my time at the auction house anyway. Generally I do not list on the tunes I farm with. That said, I will still buy the mount for status. Yeah, status I think is probably going to be the biggest thing. Not really a thing I need, but fun thing to have. Yeah, I agree with that, Bog too. Status, yeah, right one too. That's probably why it's cute, so you wondered even though it's marginally useful. Wealth usually brings out status symbols. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, those that would have the gold to spare, as I say, are people who already have a very high exposure to the auction house and probably don't spend much, if any, time away from it to make their gold. But with that said, it's a very cool looking mount, and as I mentioned, I'll probably be buying it as soon as I can. Our friend Reckles with Want to Buy Gold did share his thoughts on the mount and the endgame of gold making in general in his most recent video. So I've just watched this today, and it's a very interesting idea he has regarding comparing the endgame of gold making to perhaps raiding or battle pets or anything like that, and there's not really much of an incentive other than making more gold for gold makers. There's not really something that people can invest in gold to help them achieve that, making more gold. And maybe this mount with an auctioneer on it was kind of a first step towards that, but maybe missed the mark a little bit. So yeah, I'd recommend checking out the video on the post from Reckles with Want to Buy Gold. It's a very interesting topic to think about regarding why people make gold and what is the end game of gold making, and why, or what Blizzard can do to help with that. So discussion point for this section, will you personally be buying the auctioneer mount? What have you bought from the black market auction house before in the past, and have you ever gambled on an unclaimed container and did it pay off for you? Like what kind of stuff did you get from the unclaimed black market auction house container? Hey, what's up Spleen? Thank you for the bits. What's your streaming schedule going to be with the new jobs? Keep up the good work. At the moment, Spleen, I'm just going to be able to commit to a Saturday while I still figure things out. But we'll catch up a little bit more after the Wowhead section today on what's been going on this week if you want to stick around. But yeah, end of the first section there. Just a quick reminder guys, there is a giveaway active if you want to come and get involved. To your chance to win 30 days of WoW game time. It's open to both EU and NA players. All you have to do is type the word goblin in my stream chat and follow the stream. If you're not following, another winner will be picked. But yeah, if you're listening on the Wowhead homepage or the blog post itself, do feel free to click through into the stream, say hello, type the word goblin, and ask any questions you might have about the blog post or gold making in general. Happy to help out. What's up, Pronzi? Do I have to renew my sub if I win? Not at all, Sharp Dave. It's you only need to be following. Having said that, there is a little bit of subscriber luck turned on. Just you guys have been supporting the stream for so long, and do get a little bit of extra chance to win. Bought the black market auction house container last night, 137k, and got a dragon kite. Nice, not bad. It will sell for 2 to 3 times that. That's fantastic, Pegasus Bob. Certainly wouldn't get.
You break it, you buy it.
Get used to that kind of thing though. Renew my sub to WoW, where you can activate the 30 days of WoW game time, but you don't have to continue it after that, Sharp Dave, if that's what you mean. There's no obligation to keep up a subscription to WoW
potential customer.
if you redeem the 30 days. Thanks for the loots, Waverv, or Waverv, Stomp Stomp, I want by Brunto. I think a lot of people do. Even if it's just for the status symbol,
I got the best deals anywhere.
that would be ideal. Second tier citizens, I see how it is. I do believe it's time to seize the means of production. Wow. How much is a chromatic sword worth nowadays, being away for a while? I'm not sure, to be honest. Probably several million at least, if not gold cap, depending on your region. I only bought something from the black market once and won the Raven mount. How much did you pay for that, Ray 1-2? Tino Dakai bought a container for 250, got an epic purple shirt. I mean, that's not a terrible price for the TCG thing, but probably would have been able to get it a little bit cheaper if you were buying the shirt itself. Colic bought a container for about 25k and got a TCG toy. That's not too bad. 600k for the Raven mount. It's not too bad either. 110k for you, expert, and got the Shah Vanguard mount. Fantastic. That's what you like to see. I've heard horror stories of, or I've even seen horror stories from the likes of Student, who does his weekly black market container opening on his YouTube channel. He spent many thousands of gold and been getting like plate braces on his cloth wearer and 100 gold recipes and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the kind of risk and gamble you're going to take. I won one for 700k and got invincible. That's a decent price as well. 700k for the container is probably about average for my server as well. It's very rare that it goes below a million. 700 to 1 million goldish. So, moving on to the next section of the blog here, we've got a bit of preparation for Battle for Azeroth. There's less than 90 days now until the launch of the expansion, and there's still plenty to do in preparation as a goblin or a gold maker. As you guys may already be aware if you've been watching the stream, but my personal strategy is going to be preparing my characters with one of each profession. I already have the professions, they're just not quite leveled up to 800 yet. I'm starting to continue my Legion quest lines and get my skill points and stuff. But yeah, being able to invest in early markets at the launch of the expansion is going to allow me to diversify and profit from as many opportunities as possible, rather than putting all of my eggs in one basket. So you're thinking along the lines of Obliterum and Legion. A lot of people only did that exclusively and got a bit stung when prices started to tumble and they were left with a lot of extra stock of Obliterum. So I'm not going to be focusing on one particular thing. I'm going to try and do as much as possible across the professions. So while I'm not specifically looking to acquire items now to resell for a profit in the future, I'm certainly personally investing in materials that I know I will use frequently while crafting, especially from older expansions. So as people head into the next expansion, they're going to be much less likely to participate in any kind of farming or leveling of alts, or just simply exploring older content while there's so much to do that is new to the game. So supply of these materials will naturally dip a little bit in the early stages of the next expansion. So I'm preparing to cover what I'm already doing, plus get ready for all the new crafts from the various professions in Battle for Azeroth. So Big Daddy Hayes asks, are you going to level 1 toon quick or just play the econ game then hit max? I'm probably going to level my main character first as quickly as possible, which is my rogue, which has alchemy and engineering on it. And then once I run out of profession quests to do, I'll move on to a next character and repeat the cycle until I run out of characters, I guess. Does that mean you're doing or going to level all your toons roughly at the same time? How will you decide which ones to level first? I'm probably going to focus on the big three professions, which I would classify as being blacksmithing, tailoring and leatherworking. I have those three professions on 3 different characters, so I'll be leveling those 3 first of all after my main. But yeah, at the end of the day, each one of those characters is going to get leveled. It doesn't really matter to me which one goes first, as long as I get them leveled and get the profession started. Do you play on one server or do you use multiple servers for various auction houses? I'm only on one server at the moment primarily. Fidelities, I guess. I'm not sure how to say that properly.
I know a buyer when I see one.
But yeah, I have started a flipping gold making challenge on another server. I just really haven't looked at it in the last week or so, just with starting my new job. But yeah, lots of stuff to catch up on there. I have a boosted monk. I'll be taking as my main. I think leatherworking and skinning is best combo to max gold by pushing to 120. Skinning, well, any kind of gathering profession is probably going to be strong if you are into collecting and farming stuff. Those early weeks of the expansion is going to be insane prices for all those new materials as people climb over themselves to try and get them. So yeah, if a combination of one gathering, if you do actually go out and gather stuff, plus your crafting profession is probably going to be pretty strong. That's on a very low pop server. you're less motivated on Area 52. It sounds like you need to diversify a little bit. Just try out new markets instead of just doing what you already did in the past. But yeah, just continuing the train of thought here, expansion preparation. Don't forget, guys, you won't be able to utilize or use any of the catch-up mechanics that were introduced in Drano and Legion to level up your skill points in any professions for the earlier expansion. So once Battle for Azeroth launches, all the profession skill points are going to be separated out into each respective expansion. So you're going to have separate Burning Crusade blacksmithing, then Wrath of the Lich King blacksmithing, and then Cataclysm blacksmithing, and you're not going to be able to craft Drano and Legion stuff to get skill points in those expansion professions. So if you are going to do old school crafting stuff, now is the time to level up your professions in preparation for that. So that you don't have to start crafting Burning Crusade stuff to get your Burning Crusade skill points. It's definitely going to create a little bit of a barrier for entry to those that are not already in those markets, so I think competition may remain at a constant or maybe even fall off.
Hey, how you doing?
Instead of increasing, as it's going to take a little bit more effort and time to get involved in those old school stuff. On the other hand, people will likely want to level those skill points for each expansion anyway, just for completion's sake, not necessarily just to actually start crafting stuff and selling them. So preparing profession kits to level up those expansion skills in the most efficient manner will definitely, I say likely, but it's definitely going to make a return, like we used to see in Pandaria. So you'd collect all the materials required to level, for example, Burning Crusade blacksmithing. You'd sell those items as a package or as a kit and give instructions to the buyer on what to craft and how many to craft of each, and then it can get the maximum skill points for a fixed amount of gold, which would be probably more gold than you would have spent if you were trying to buy or collect the materials yourself. So that's definitely going to be an interesting return of a market.
The best deals anywhere.
Bregvids, awesome YouTuber for gold making, has prepared an investment guide with some specific tips, like specific items to look into and different markets to look into. So definitely recommend checking his video out. And Sharkin also made a video with some higher level concepts that can be applied for any transition between expansions. So some key things to consider when looking at what to invest according to Sharkin, and I definitely agree with him. I'll include the following: how much gold do you have at the moment and how much are you willing to invest? You're probably not going to be looking to invest 100% of your liquid gold or your capital to make a profit in the future. You probably want to separate out, set aside maybe 30 to 40% of your gold in order to speculate, to accumulate. If the item you're looking at to invest in, is it going to be easier or harder to farm in the next expansion? So looking at the likes of Blood of Sargeras, it's probably going to be a little bit harder to acquire those bloods once BFA launches. So any items that require bloods, it's probably going to be a decent market or item to invest in, like your blacksmithing mounts. Is the item itself going to be useful or wanted in the next expansion? So some of the low level crafting materials are probably not going to be much interesting or much worth. What am I trying to say? The low level crafting mats are probably not going to be of much use, but as I say, things like the blacksmithing mount, it's going to be a unique mount that people still want and still need. So those kind of things, you got to kind of draw a line to say, well, this is probably not going to be very useful in the future. Is the item limited by cooldowns or daily quests? Is there anything locked behind something that requires a bit of effort? So something that I'm doing on my blacksmith at the moment is trying to unlock my Molten Front vendors, which requires a little bit of time or daily quests to get access to. So is there anything in Legion or even other expansions that people may not be doing because it's too much effort or too much time required that you can start doing to set yourself apart from the competition? Are there any major changes that might affect certain items, like the magic carpet? There's been a change in materials required for the magic carpet, and it's no longer requiring golden draenite. It's going to be requiring ice web spider silk, so it's a very dramatic change in materials. So it's not going to be worth trying to stock up on as many golden draenites to craft these as it used to be. So those are things you need to be aware of. And how bad can it backfire? What's the worst case scenario on this investment? Are you just going to end up with like a bank full of items? Are you going to lose all of your gold? Which shouldn't happen when you're considering how much you're going to be able to invest, or how much you should invest, rather than not what you can invest. And what's the outcome of the investment if it doesn't work out? Are you going to be stuck with nothing? Are you going to be, I don't know, not really in a worse position because you have calculated your risk and stuff like that? So yeah, his video covers these topics, answers some of the questions, and talks about a few of the items that match these criteria. However, I think he had some audio issues when he was recording, so you do need to turn up the volume if you want to watch this video from Sharkin. But don't forget to adjust your volume back down after you're finished, because it is super duper quiet and you're probably going to blast your ears off if you forget to turn your volume back down after watching the video. So discussion point for this section, second part of the blog this week. What are you guys investing in for Battle for Azeroth? What has been your experience in when transitioning between expansions as a gold maker? And what is going to be your priority during the first few weeks of Battle for Azeroth? Are you guys going to be leveling everything up as fast as possible? Are you going to be focusing on crafting professions, or are you going to be gathering stuff? What are your guys' plans for the early stages of Battle for Azeroth? Shark and Mike, best Mike, yeah. Sky Golems for Bark 2. How many engineers have you got going Bark 2 for that?
I got what you need.
I'm buying Lost Mail. That's a good one, Zinyan. What's up, Blues Man? Thanks for joining in. I love blasting my ears off. Bear back video time. Sounds good, Zion. I can share it. Market flipping is weird. Yeah, definitely interesting at the moment while it's still current content. But don't forget, people are not going to be in Dalaran once the expansion launches. 730 on my alts. That should be fine, Alzara. The only thing you'd have to consider there is leveling up the last of your Legion skill points. You should still get access to all of your previous expansion stuff. My plans really truly happen the minute I get started. Yeah. Going to level at least 3 as soon as possible. Sounds good. You got 4 engineers. Perfect. How many alts do you have, Gumdrops? I have my rogue, my hunter, my paladin, my priest, my mage, my demon hunter. I have 6 or 7 characters, and I have at least one of each profession across all of the characters there. How's Gumdrops doing? Very well, thanks. I will catch up a little bit more on what's been going on this week after the Wowhead section here. Gonna do what I usually do, take it slow, enjoy the content and get the most out of the new experience, at least on my first 110 to 120. That's fair enough, Tolo. I think that's a very reasonable perspective to have. Gonna miss Dalaran? Yeah, for sure. Will the crafting mounts in Pandaria get more people selling them with the faster professional leveling revamp? Quite possibly, Frozen, but at the same time, to level up those Pandaria skill points, you do need to craft Pandaria stuff, so it's not going to be the case that anybody can just start doing Pandaria stuff immediately. They'll have to go out of their way to invest in that, and it probably will put a lot of people off instead of increasing competition in those markets. Need more professionals. Yeah, I haven't stacked up on anything, although I do have alchemy twice, 1 elixir and 1 transmute master. Going with my main first, enchanting and jewel crafting, then 1 by 1 until all 8 are done and I can max all professions. Sounds like a solid plan there, Tracks. So yeah, interesting perspective there, guys, on what your plans are. Lots of different strategies, which is good. Everybody's not doing the same thing. But yeah, just a quick reminder, guys, there is a giveaway active right now. If you'd like to get involved for your chance to win 30 days of WoW game time, come and type the word goblin in my stream chat. You do have to be following the stream in order to be selected as a winner. So if you are listening on the Wowhead homepage or the blog post itself, do feel free to click through onto the stream, say hello and type the word goblin, and we'll be picking a winner here shortly after the Wowhead section today. Don't forget, there is a little bit of subscriber luck turned on, just so you guys have been supporting the stream for so long now. Get a little bit of extra chance to win the giveaway today.
Hey, how you doing?
How's it going, Lele? Lalil, I think. One question, should we stick on pets, charms, or spend them now? So there is going to be a new version of the pet charms in Battle for Azeroth, but you're still going to be able to spend your current pet charms on the same things in Battle for Azeroth. So I don't think it's going to be as important to offload those or get rid of them as you may think. But somebody who is in the pet markets may be able to comment further on that. Only one Transmute Master? Yeah. I have plans to make a 5-man Demon Hunter team with Transmutation Mastery. Will server down in EU, can't make any class trials. Are you specifically getting a world server down error message? You may already have too many class trials on your account at the moment. Or you've already made too many. Yeah, Hazelnutty Games is a good option for the pet stuff. She has a video covering the new pet charms and what that implicates for pet trading and stuff. Which time the giveaway ends? Just whenever we finish the Wowhead section here, Glory, so probably in another 15-20 minutes or so. So, third section of the blog this week, we're taking a look at some of the WoW token prices that had a bit of a swing this week. I think we hit record highs again, 401,000 gold on EU. It spiked up. And this was caused because Activision Blizzard announced the exclusive availability of the newest Call of Duty franchise on the Blizzard Battle.net launcher. So the rise in price coming from WoW players cashing in on WoW Gold for tokens to then convert into Battle.net balance in order to pre-purchase Call of Duty Black Ops 4. So while there may be a small crossover in players that are interested in playing both games, Goblins and Goldmakers could have created a self-fulfilling prophecy in hedging their bets that the price would increase and purchasing as much as possible, therefore increasing the demand and causing the prices to rise. So there has been a lot of controversy and arguments and discussions. I think some of you guys saw my tweet this week regarding that. I was kind of asking what the kind of outcry was, not in regards to the rise in price in WoW tokens, but more to the fact that people were actually complaining about the existence of Call of Duty on the launcher, which I personally don't have an issue with. It's there, I'm not going to click on it, it's not really causing any problems. Having said that, I can agree that the rise in WoW token price was a little bit concerning for some. As I said, EU tokens spiked above 400,000 gold, but it has settled back down to prices before the announcement. Here's the official chart here on wowtoken.info. Current price is around about 350,000 gold, which is kind of around the same price as earlier in the week before the announcements. Similar situation for US or NA tokens, hovering around 200k, spiked up to 240-ish, and then settled back down again, just over 200k, which is interesting though, since it has taken a long time to get above 200k consistently. For the longest time, as we mentioned in a recent blog post, it hasn't really breached 200k for a few weeks, even a couple of months even. But I think once it has crossed over that 200k mark, it's probably going to stay above that number moving forward into the future. So where did it jump up? Yeah, 100k around April of last year, and now it's sitting around 200k April, May this year. So that's 100,000 gold increase in the space of a year. Does anybody remember the days when the tokens were 20,000 gold? Back in 2015. Wow, it's 3 years that the token has been available. That's a crazy time frame. Token price inflation on NA servers are far lower than EU, which is a good thing. Yeah, so we discussed this a little bit in the blog, not last week but the week before, just why tokens were so different. And it's mostly just down to the different European countries that have access to the tokens. For my first tokens for 16k, yeah, those were the days for sure. So yeah, that's what happened with the price of WoW tokens this week. As I say, things have kind of settled back down to where they were before the announcement, but you can see the Call of Duty section on the launcher again, where you can pre-purchase it. As I said, there was a little bit of confusion and maybe not controversy, but a lot of discussions around the price of the token, to the extent that community manager This actually took a moment to explain how the token works. He put out a tweet, which you may have saw retweeted by myself, but he posted a few things on the official forums, essentially breaking down how the tokens work, and maybe refuting is the wrong word to use, but kind of, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Reassuring people that it's not what they think and it's not kind of doom and gloom. What's up, Shen? Thanks for tuning in today. But yeah, essentially tokens do not inject any gold into the economy. The same gold always exists. If the price jumps up 50k, someone is still paying that 50k that already existed, and someone will receive that same 50k. So it's not a case of removing gold from the economy, it's not adding any gold to the economy, it's simply a case of transferring gold between players. Obviously one transaction involves paying real money for that gold, and on the other side somebody's paying gold for their game time or battle.net balance at the end of it. So it's just a transfer of wealth rather than removing or adding any gold into the economy. A lot of people did actually compare the Plex system in EVE and World of Warcraft with regards to tokens, and Euthisens actually plays EVE quite a lot. So it was interesting that he was able to comment on this as like a player of both games. He sees a lot of player feedback towards Plex is the same as the WoW token. So just adopting the EVE system where you can buy and sell tokens. Once you purchase it with real money, you can sell it on the in-game economy in EVE, and then buy and sell it again without it actually being converted into game time. But I don't think that would work in World of Warcraft. The game and the market and the economy isn't really designed for that. It's not going to magically fix anything that people think it would. So Blizzard actually regulating the growth of the token and the decay in the price of the token allows Blizzard to keep it from fluctuating too widely and impacting server economies. You'd be pretty upset if you bought a WoW token and then the time it took you to list it on the auction house, the market value of it dropped by 40% just because someone decided to unload and crash the value, so unloading all of the tokens that they had purchased. That can happen in EVE, but it's not really a negative about the game, it's just designed to allow that kind of market behavior in EVE, but not in World of Warcraft. In the same thread on the official forums, a guy called Pity, or a gnome called Pity, summed up the situation regarding the internal and external economies related to the WoW token, and it's basically confirming or kind of reiterating the point that it's a distribution system rather than a removal or addition of gold into the game. So for an arbitrary contrived example, when the token price goes up, it doesn't mean that the price of Starlight Rose will go up. It's instead based on the amount of accumulated gold players have that are willing to spend on the token, and that's an external demand rather than an internal demand. Individual resources in the auction house have their own ebbs and flows, but the token economy is tied solely to external situations, so those willing to spend cash on gold tokens. WoW is out of tokens right now, which was posted during the week, because buyers are rightfully waiting for the token gold price of a token to go up. Why should I buy now when the price is just going to go up? It's a deflationary event right now since the price of gold is going down, i.e. you get more gold for your dollar, so you gotta wait because more scarcity, i.e. fewer tokens. Demand remains the same or goes up, driving the gold price of the token up, and consequentially drive the dollar price of gold down even further. It's late game Legion, who the heck needs another 200,000 gold? So it's kind of a zero-sum game here where people who want to buy tokens with gold are waiting for the prices to go down, but it's not going to happen because people are going to be waiting with real money for the prices to go up, and it's kind of cancelling each other out and keeping prices high a little bit. Playing EVE right now sounds good, Shen. Staring into my soul. Yeah, those eyes. So again, this is another video from Reckles with Want to Buy Gold. I don't generally try and double feature people, but this video actually came out a few weeks ago and it didn't really line up with a topic that I was covering in the Wowhead economy wrap up, and this was kind of tying in perfectly with the whole discussion on how tokens work and what goes on when you're buying and selling tokens and stuff like that. So I wanted to feature this to kind of wrap up the topic of the WoW token, which I definitely suggest checking out. It's got some good insights and explains it a little bit, not for the layman, I guess that's too harsh, but definitely in a way that more people can understand. So obviously I'm kind of blasting through this at the moment. But yeah, discussion point for this section. Have you guys stocked up on any tokens this week? Were you preparing for the price to jump up? Will you be purchasing Call of Duty with Battle.net balance? I don't think I'll have anybody in my stream at the moment who will be doing that, but I'll be curious if there was somebody who said yes. And what do you guys think of Call of Duty? Maybe that's a leading question, considering the audience. But yeah, I'd be curious to hear what you guys think about the addition of the game to the launcher, and whether you're going to be checking it out if you've got the spare gold to buy it with Battle.net balance. Kaba, yeah, exactly, Emery. But yeah, that's the third section of the blog this week. Just a quick reminder, guys, there is a active giveaway for your chance to win 30 days of WoW game time. All you have to do is type the word goblin in the stream chat. We're going to be picking a winner here after this final section, which is just a quick recap of some alderman farming. But yeah, you do have to be following the stream. If you're not following, you will forfeit your prize and a reroll will be conducted. But if you are listening on the Wowhead homepage or the blog post itself, do feel free to...
Hail the
oh my goodness.
trade prince on Azeroth! Me.
Infamous Juice, thank you very much for the sub. Much appreciated. As a second point there is a little bit of subscriber luck turned on for the giveaway, just for you guys who've been supporting the stream, get a little bit of extra chance to win the giveaway this week.
When I see one.
But as I say, if you are listening on the Wowhead homepage or the blog post itself, do feel free to click through into the stream, say hello, enter the giveaway and click that follow button for your chance to win. Ricky says, my only issue with Call of Duty being on Battle.net is that Blizzard rarely releases new IP, so I can't help but imagine that years down the road there'll be more non-Blizzard games on the launcher than actual Blizzard games. Annoys me that it has to affect token price, but like you said, it's dropped back down to normal. It has dropped back down. I don't know whether I'd say it was normal price. I'd still say the tokens are a little bit high for the price for paying with gold. Obviously, from the other perspective though, people buying those tokens with real money, it's a kind of a fantastic deal. You're gonna get a lot of gold for your dollar there, as mentioned in the blog. But yeah, I can definitely see that happening, Ricky, with more non-Blizzard titles on the launcher than Blizzard games, eventually. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be too much, because the games so far are still kind of part of the Activision Blizzard family. There hasn't been really any external games added at this point. Tolo says, I'm very disappointed that Black Ops 4 is not on Steam. I don't mind it being on Battle.net though. Once we get it closer to the actual release, I will take a look at the amount of gold I have and then I might buy it with gold. That's interesting, Tolo. I wasn't expecting anybody to want to participate in that from my audience, but that's cool. I only started playing WoW so I could buy Call of Duty with gold instead of money. WoW sucks. Yeah, I don't agree or don't believe that for 1 second, Ryokar. But nice try. What's the point, Gnome and Dekirk and Kaifin? How you guys doing today? We're just about to get to the final section of the Wowhead blog, and we're going to be picking the winner of the giveaway shortly. But yeah, the last section of the blog today is the 1000 Ulderman runs performed by Poral. Been doing this over the course of 18 weeks, and he's been recording all of the drops that he's been receiving and documenting how much he's been making in terms of sales from those items and what kind of stuff he's been getting. So the last 50 runs was done this week. On average, he was receiving 7 to 8 green items per run, which is 350 to 400 in total of the 50 runs, I guess. Yeah, 50 runs. So I valued those, including disenchanting, at about 40 to 50,000 gold. I can't remember where he talked about the rares. Oh yeah, 53,000 gold in rares in terms of value. That's about 106, or between 96 and 106,000 gold in value, not in sales. But I went ahead and put together his chart for sales over the course of the 18 weeks. So documenting his actual sales, not just the item values. Did tot up to around about 1 million gold in sales just from running Uldaman 1,000 times. That's not including all the stuff that hasn't sold that can still sell after the 18 weeks or after the 1,000 runs. I forget what his total item value was. Let's see if he documented that. But yeah, he's had YouTube videos of every single run he's done, and he's documenting every single item he's got. Like he's 18 times Excavator Brands, 16 Beacon of Hopes, 13 the Shovelers, 12 Leggods of the Vault, all these different BOEs that he's been collecting. So 200 rares in total, 1 rare every 5 runs. He's got some patterns, and this is where I took the numbers here for his actual sales. So obviously that's not a finished situation. He's still got all the items that he's not sold yet. Yeah, I don't think he's put together his total item value. Let's see if it's at the top here. Okay, here is his item value. So instead of it being a little bit lower regarding gold per run in sales being less than 2,000 gold on average, his item value has been anywhere between 3 and 10,000 gold per run in terms of looted item value. So obviously there's a bit of a difference there. You're not actually collecting that gold immediately. It still has to be sold, but it's definitely worth knowing what you can get out of the dungeon and what the potential is in terms of sales. So as I say, the table above on the blog is only for the sales of rare items. There are still countless greens to sell or disenchant, plus the cloth that you get can be quite profitable. And we didn't see, or at least Poor Owl didn't see, any of the super rare items like Pendulum of Doom or the Papal Fez, however you pronounce that. If you do get one of those kind of items, you're kind of laughing all the way to the bank, since those are so incredibly valuable. If you are interested in trying your own luck at some high value transmog in Uldaman, Poral actually put together a route guide to be a bit more efficient with your farms, so I've included the video there at the end of it if you wanted to check that out. Discussion point for the final section here is which dungeons do you guys like to farm for transmog? What's the rarest item you found while farming, and what's the biggest sale you've ever made from transmog itself? So not necessarily anything you crafted or something you flipped or BOE or anything from a raid, but just a transmog item that you farmed. What kind of price you've been selling that stuff for? 90 weeks for 1,000 runs. Yeah, I think he was just doing 50 a week, point you know, 50-ish a week. I wish he would have put an evaluation of his mental state with each week too. Yeah, something like that. Be worth knowing for sure. Thank you for the bits, Mando. It's very much appreciated. Trax loves Sunken Temple. Same rare rate as Uldaman, 1 out of 5 runs. That sounds interesting. I kind of it's the same level range. Dropping the same kind of loot maybe. Ricky's just following up on that point there with the game being on Battle.net means I might end up purchasing it just for the sake of having something else to play. I haven't played the game not on the Battle.net launcher since the second newest Assassin's Creed was released. I think that's an important point as well, Ricky. It introduces the game to people who wouldn't necessarily play it, which I think is always good for business. Another 100 bits from Escort. Thank you so much for the support. I think I missed the loots there as well. Robert Likes You says, thanks for the tips. Absolutely. Thank you very much for joining in today. Score Shane said earlier, missing the great streams, but having you had a job you enjoy. Thank you so much for that as well. Right12 says, 7 days late equals 7 coins. We miss you. 7 billion coins. Yeah, thank you. Much appreciated. It's a lot quicker to run Sunken Temple, 2 under 3 minutes to run. That sounds good. If anybody else was checking out those old school transmog farms. So that pretty much wraps up the WoW economy wrap-up section. Thank you guys for joining me today. We're going to go ahead and find a winner for this game time. So if any of you guys listening have not got involved, you're listening on the Wowhead homepage or the blog post itself, a quick reminder, There's 30 days of WoW game time available up for grabs. All you have to do to win is come and join the stream, click that follow button and type the word goblin in the chat. And I'll be going ahead and finding a winner here just in a second. That's the wrong one there. Let's find the right one.
I know a buyer when I see one.
There it is. Let's hide Firefox. So, how many do we have? 127 eligible users. If you see your name on the left hand side here with a blue dot, you have been tracked and entered in for the giveaway. If you do not see your name, all you have to do is type the word goblin in the chat and click that follow button. So I'll scroll down here to make sure you guys can see you entered into the giveaway. As I say, it's 30 days of WoW game time. It's open to both EU and NA players. So all you have to do is type the word goblin. It's not Gnome Tolo, almost, but not quite. The bot is in the giveaway as well. That is true actually. Where's the bot? There it is. Drow's the Enforcer. Let's get him out of here. Mark ineligible. It's only because he says goblin in the command. But yeah, here we are. Up to the M's, the N's. You see your guys' name in the list here, but it doesn't have a blue dot beside it. Go ahead and type the word goblin. Stop entering so I can win. Yeah. Pointy Gnome's in there, Porty's in there, Pronzy. Regalthus again, Ricky, right one too. All those people. Squabbles hasn't entered properly. If you want to participate, type the word goblin. Sharp Dave, I've seen you in the chat, but you haven't actually entered properly. You need to type the word goblin. Wave Molly hasn't entered either. If you want to participate, and everybody at the bottom there. So yeah, as I say, guys, 30 days of WoW game time up for grabs. If you are listening on Wowhead, do feel free to click through and participate. Click that follow button and type the word goblin for your chance to win 30 days of WoW game time. Open to both EU and NA players. And we will
I know a buyer when I see one.
pick a winner in just a second here. I'll pass anyway since I won last week. That's all good with Molly. Thank you for saying.
Ah, potential customer.
So, last chance, guys. I know there's a little bit of a less of a delay on the stream. I don't have to wait like 15-20 seconds. But I'll quickly scroll down here on the side. You don't see your name.
I know a buyer when I see one.
Get yourself involved. Once I get to the bottom of the list, I'm going to go ahead and click that winner button. See who's won. I'm on the bicycle. Oh, it's all good, Scobbles. Safe, stay safe on the bike. I see Shin in there again. Maybe he's going to win this weekend as well as last weekend from every last copper.
I got what you need.
So, almost 150 entries. That's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and click the roller button. So if you're not entered in, too late was to cry. Let's go ahead and click roll it and see who's won. So Fade has won, but they are not following. So we're going to have to click on roll it and re-roll. They did not follow. As you did say many times.
I got the best deals anywhere.
Don't know what the game is. Yeah, that's probably for the best. Let's click on roll it again and find another winner who is possibly following. There we go. Mike Flanny has won. Following since last year. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for the continued support. Wanted to see what it was. But you can check out worldofwarcraft.com and check out what the game is. And see what it's all about.
The best deals anywhere.
Rigged, yeah, not at all, Poddy. But yeah, congrats, Mike Funny. Commiserations, everybody else. But thank you so much for participating. I'll probably be doing the same thing next week. We'll have some kind of giveaway while we are talking through the Wowhead blog.
I got the best deals anywhere.
So just let me know which region you're from, Mike Flanny, if you're on NA or EU. You can send me a whisper on Twitch, or you can hit me up on Discord,
I have a deal for you.
or just whisper me what your Discord username is, and we can arrange your 30 days of WoW game time after the stream. Just have to let me know which region you're in. But yeah, thank you guys for the follows, and thank you for joining in for the giveaway. As I say, same time next week we'll be doing the WoW Economy weekly wrap up, and we'll have a giveaway again if you want to come back and tune in. So don't forget to click that follow button to get notified when I go live next. Let's see here. Let's hide the giveaway.